once stood shoulder to shoulder with Palestine, a champion of anti-colonial solidarity and non-alignment. It was the first non-Arab state to recognize the PLO in 1974 and among the earliest to recognize the state of Palestine in 1988. Yet, in 2025, as bombs flatten Gaza and 147 nations line up to recognize Palestine at the United Nations this year, New Delhi's voice has grown quieter, measured, hedged, and abstaining. The moral compass of the global South now seems calibrated to arms deals, investment pacts, and Washington's gaze. India calls for dialogue, but stops short of naming atrocity. How long can this balancing act last before it collapses under its own contradictions? And will India finally speak up against Israeli brutality? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. The world is shifting. France, Australia, Canada, and even parts of the UK establishment are preparing formal recognition of Palestine at the 2025 UNGA, which is underway. Pakistan, China, Russia, and much of the Arab world already vote 100% pro-Palestine despite US pressure. Yet India, once Palestine's loudest friend outside the Arab bloc, has abstained 4 times on Gaza ceasefire votes in 2 years. Modi visited Tel Aviv without Ramallah in 2017, then staged a separate balancing visit to Ramallah in 2018. In the face of mounting civilian deaths and war crime accusations, how much abstention is too much before India's credibility as voice of the global South snaps? India's early Palestine policy was forged in the fire of anti-colonial struggle. In 1947, New Delhi opposed the UN partition plan for Palestine and voted against Israel's admission to the United Nations, aligning with the Arab bloc. In 1974, India became the first non-Arab state to recognize the PLO as the sole legitimate representative of the Palestinian people. By 1988, India was among the first countries to recognize the state of Palestine itself. Ever since Israel started its crusade against Gaza in 2023, it has turned India's balancing act into a stress test. As civilian casualties soared and international organizations accused Israel of war crimes, the United Nations General Assembly tabled a resolution demanding an immediate, unconditional ceasefire, release of hostages, and humanitarian access. India abstained, its 4th such abstention on major Gaza votes since 2023. Officially, India still supports a negotiated 2-state solution and condemns civilian deaths, but it avoids naming Israel as the perpetrator, preferring symmetrical calls for restraint by all parties. Supporters say New Delhi is being pragmatic, protecting vital defense ties and US goodwill. Yet each abstention chips away at the credibility India built over decades as Palestine's friend. The question lingers, is New Delhi's policy still balanced, or has it tipped into complicity? It does, as it should, however, condemn Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack as terrorism, reflecting its zero-tolerance line on terror. India still has options. It can continue abstaining, hoping its statements of deep concern will suffice, or it can recalibrate, using its ties with Israel to press for ceasefire compliance, humanitarian access, and concrete movement toward a 2-state solution. The question is no longer whether India supports a 2-state solution in words, but whether it will act, vote, pressure, and lead when it matters. How much is too much? The answer may define India's place in the world for years to come. Thank you for watching Statecraft.